Hi everyone, in this video we are going to discuss some snippet questions on looping structures in Java which are asked in some ICSE computer applications board theory examinations. Let us move to the first snippet question. What will be the output of the following code? For example, let us assume that the integer variable m has the value 2 and n has the value 15. Now there is a for loop executed, and after that at the end of the for loop we have to print the value of m and n. Now let us trace the for loop. So the for loop is actually having an initialization of the looping variable I with initial value 1, then the condition is I less than 5 and I plus plus is the updation. After that we are not having any curly braces, so here that is what the trick we have to be we have to use or we have to notice, right? So the thing is there is no curly brace. So when there is no curly brace for a for loop or any looping structure or any decision making structure, then only the immediate next statement after this header of the for loop will be considered as the part of this for loop. So only the statement m plus plus will be the part of this for loop, and this minus minus n is not the part of this for loop. So in all the iterations of this for loop, only this m will be getting modified. So now let us trace the loop. M is 2 and n is 15. Now I is equal to 1 and 1 less than 5. Yes, 1 is less than 5. In that case, it will come into the loop and it will convert m into 3, right? So initially m is actually 2. So initially m is 2. Now at the end it will become 3. Now again I will become 2 now because it is incremented, so it will become 2. So 2 less than 5, yes, 2 is less than 5. Again it will come into the loop, body of the loop, and it will increment m by 1. So now m will become 4. After that again it will come and I will become 3. I will become 3 and 3 less than 5, yes, 3 is less than 5, and it is coming into the body of the loop, so m is incremented once again, so m will become 5. Now I is becoming uh, 4. I is becoming 4. So when I is becoming 4, 4 less than 5, this is 4 less than 5. In that case again it will come into the body of the loop. So m will be incremented by 1. So it will become 6. Now I is becoming 5. And when I is becoming 5, 5 less than 5. No, 5 is not less than 5. So the condition is not satisfied. So the loop will not be entered. That means the body of the loop is not executed. So now at that point the for loop is terminated and the immediate next statement after the for loop will be executed. So in that case next statement is actually minus minus n. So what is the current value of n? It is 15, and minus minus n is making the current value of n from 15 to 14. That means it's a pre-decrement, and pre-decrement decrements the current value of n by 1. Now the last statement, two statements printing the value of m and n. What is the current value of m? It is 6 after executing all the iterations of our loop. And what is the value of n? It is 14 after executing the statement after the for loop is executed. Now what is the output? First the 6 will be executed, 6 will be printed. After that 4 will be printed. So 6, then in the next line 4 will be 14 will be printed. So this is the output of this particular code given. Now let us move to the next code. Give the output of the following program segment and also mention how many times the loop is executed. Now let us have the trace on this. Let me have the looping variable I and number of times the loop is going to be executed. So the initial value of I is 5. So it's a for loop, and this for loop again has only one statement in it because there is no curly brace after the header of the for loop. So only the system.out.println of I is actually executed within the for loop, and I into 4 is executed only once. That's after the for loop is finished all its iterations. Now what is the current value of I? Current value of I is actually 5. So 5 greater than 10, is 5 greater than 10? No, the condition is not satisfied. So in that case, what will happen? The body of the loop will not be entered. That means the current value of I will not be printed. So current value of I is 5, but since this condition 5 greater than 10 is not satisfied, then the body of the loop will not be executed. So the printing of I once will not be done. Then immediately the next statement after the for loop is system.out.println I into 4. So now see, the for loop not executed at all. That is number of times the for loop executes is 0. At the same time, system.out.println I into 4. I into 4. So current value of I is 5 because even the loop is not ended. At the same time, I is initialized to the value 5. So 5 into 4, it is actually 20. So the output of this program is 20. At the same time, number of times the loop executes is 0 because in the first iteration itself the condition is not satisfied. So now this is the output. Output is 20 and number of times the loop executes is 0. Now let us move to the next snippet. Analyze the given program segment and answer the following questions. For integer m equal to 5, m less than or equal to 20, m plus is equal to 5. This is the header of the for loop. Now let us trace the for loop. Initially, right, let us trace the for loop. What is the value of m, right? So m is initially 5. Current value of m is 5. 5 less than 20? Yes, 5 less than 20. So in that case, number of times the loop executes is 1. Then current value of m is divided by 3 and it is checked against the remainder 0. So m modulus division by 3. So modulus division operator will give the remainder as a result. So current value of m is 5. 5 by 3 is giving 0 as a remainder? No. In that case, this break will not be encountered or it will not be executed. So the condition is wrong or false. So the control will come to the else part of this if. Now in the else part, again we have another condition. Right? We have another condition. 5 modulus division by 5 is equal to 0 because current value of 5. So 5 modulus division by 5 is equal to 0. Yes. When you are dividing 5 by 5, then you will get the remainder 0. In that case, print m once. That means it will print the current value of m once, that is 5 once. Now continue. What is the role of continue here? It's actually just to okay, give a change in the program. That's all. But actually, it's not going to have any effect. Even if the continue is missing, the for loop is going to work the same way, right? So now continue is going to skip the remaining iterations, remaining statements in the same iteration and start the next iteration. So there is no other statement following this continue. So directly the control will move to the next iteration of the for loop. Now in that case, m will become m equal to m plus 5. So the current value of m is 5. Now 5 is added with that and the result is now 10. So m equal to m plus 5, m plus is equal to 5 means m equal to m plus 5. So m equal to current value of 5, m is 5 plus 5, that is 10. So m equal to 10 now. Again, condition will be checked. 10 less than or equal to 20? Yes, 10 is less than 20. In that case, the for loop is ended. That means the loop is executing once. So the number of times now becomes 2. That's one more time it is executing. Now 10 is actually modulus division by 3. 10 modulus division by 3 is giving 0 as a remainder? No. 10 division by 3 is not giving 0 as a remainder. So surely this if block will not be executed. At the same time, it will come to the else block. In the else block, 10 modulus division by 5 equal to 0. Yes, 10 modulus division by 5 is actually giving 0 as a remainder. In that case, print m once. So current value of m is now 10. So 10 will be printed once. After that, again continue is executed. So continue will move to the next iteration. It will move the for loop to the next iteration. Now M is again already current value of M is 10 and now it is added with 5. So 10 plus 5 is equal to 15. So M is now 15. Now M is now 15. Now 15 less than or equal to 20. 15 less than or equal to 20? Yes, 15 is less than 20. So again, one more time that for loop will execute. One more time the for loop will execute. Now it will come into the body of the for loop, and here what will happen? The first thing is M modulus division by 3, that is 15 modulus division by 3. Is it giving 0 as a remainder? Yes. 15 by 3 is giving 0 as a remainder. In that case, the condition is satisfied, so it will come into the if statement, the statement or if block. Now what is there in if block? Only one break statement. So what will happen when break statement is executed? The for loop will be terminated, right? That's all. The for loop will be terminated, and now the control will come out of the for loop. There is no other statement after the for loop. Now what's happening is actually here the output is actually 5 then 10 followed by 10. First line 5, then again in next line 10. The number of times the loop executes is actually 3. So in the third iteration actually a break is encountered, so in that case it came out of the for loop. So the number of times the loop executes is actually 3 and the output is 5 in one line and 10 in next line. So this is what this output a number of times the loop executes in this snippet. Now let us move to the next code or snippet. Analyze the following program segment and determine how many times the body of the loop will be executed. So here we have to display the output also, right? So output is there and number of times the loop will execute. Now for example, x is initially 5 and y is 50. Now it is start executing the while loop. So x less than or equal to y. That means 5 less than or equal to 50. Yes, it's less than 50. So the condition is satisfied. So in that case, what is happening? It will come into the body of the loop. So y equal to y by x. Y equal to y by x. Let us have one more column here for the modified value of y. So modified. Now y equal to y modulus division by x. So y is actually 50, mod x is 5, so 50 modulus division by 5, it's giving 10 as a result, and that is stored into y. So number of times the loop is executed is 1 because now current iteration is in execution, so it's 1. Now what is the current value of y? It is 10. Now again the next iteration starts. What is the current value of x? It's not modified, so it's still 5 only, and current value of y is 10. Now x less than or equal to y, that means 5 less than 10. Yes, 5 is less than 10. In that case, what will happen? The loop will be entered, so the number of times that for loop executes, sorry, while loop executes is 1. Again, one more time, right? At the same time, what's happening inside the loop is y equal to y by x. So current value of y is actually 10 and what is x is actually 5. So when you are dividing 10 by 5, what will you get as a quotient? You will get 2 as a quotient, right? You will get 2 as a quotient, right? And now you see every time it is printing y. So in the first case, first iteration it printed 10 once. Then in the second iteration again it is printing 2, right? And now this is the current value of y. 2 is the current value of y. Now let us move to the next iteration of the while loop. So now x is 5 and y is 2. Now let us check the condition again. X less than or equal to y. That means 5 less than or equal to 2. No, 5 is not less than 2 or equal to 2. In that case, the condition is not satisfied. In that case, the loop will not be ended or the body of the loop will not be executed. So here that's the end of the looping, or that's the end of the execution of the loop. So the outputs printed are 10 in one line and 2 in next line. At the same time, number of times the loop executes is actually 2. Now let us move to the last snippet in this video, that is Analyze the following program segment and determine how many times the loop will be executed. Then what will be the output of the following program segment, right? So let us add one more thing here, output, right? Now let us start the tracing of a while loop. So here current value of k is 1 and I is 2. So current value of k is 1 and I is 2. So I is 2 and k is 1, right? Now let us enter into the while loop. Plus I less than 6. So here we have a plus I, that is a pre-increment. So what is the behavior of pre-increment? If you are using pre-increment, the value of the variable will be incremented by 1, then it will be used into the expression. So here the value of current value of I is incremented by 1. So what is the current value of I? It is 2 and it is incremented by 1, so it is becoming 3. Now 3 less than 6, yes, 3 is less than 6. So surely the loop will be entered. So number of times executed is 1. Then it will come into the while loop. It will come into the while loop. If you notice clearly that while loop is containing only one statement in it. It's containing only one statement in it, right? So it will keep on executing that single statement. That means k into or k star equal to I. That is equal to k into I. That will be executed the number of times of the iterations of the while loop. Now here, what will happen to the k now? Okay, so actually I is incremented by 1, so that became 3, right? Now the current value of I is actually 3. Okay, current value of I is 3. So 3 less than 6, yes, 3 is less than 6 and the loop is ended. That means the body of the loop is now started to execute. Now modified value of I is 3. At the same time k is modified as k into I. So what's the current value of k? Current value of k is 1. What's the current value of I? It is 3. So 1 into 3, it is 3. Right? Now let us move to the next iteration. Again, current value of I is 3 and current value of k is 3. Now let us come to check the condition. First, plus I. That means the pre-increment operation will be happening. So 3 will become 4. Okay, 3 will become 4. Right? And 3 less than 6. 3 will become 4. So 4 less than 6. Yes, 4 is less than 6. So current value of I is actually 4 and 4 is less than 6. So the number of iterations, that means is incremented by 1. That means one more time the for loop is executed. Sorry, while loop is executing. One more time the while loop is executing. And here what is happening is current value of I is actually 4 and k into equal to I means k equal to k into I. So current value of k is actually 3 and current value of I is 4 and k equal to k into I. That means 3 into 4, it is 12. It's 12 now. So k is becoming 12 now. Now again the next iteration started. I is 4 and k is actually 12. Right? K is 12. Now plus I. So currently the value of I is actually 4. It is incremented by 1, so it is becoming 5. So it is becoming 5. Now 5 less than 6. 5 less than 6. Yes, 5 is less than 6. In that case, again one more time the loop can execute. Okay, again the loop can execute one more time. Right? Again the loop can execute one more time. So here the current value of I is 5. That means after incrementation it is becoming 5. And what is happening here is k into k plus k equal to k into I. So current value of k is 12 and current value of I is 5. So I 5 into 12 it is actually 5 into 12 it is 60, right? It's 60. Now let us move to the next iteration. The current value of I is actually 5 and current value of k is 12, right? And what will happen is first incrementation will happen. So I plus I. So plus I will make 5 to 6, right? So 6 less than 6. Is 6 less than 6? No, 6 is not less than 6. So in that case, condition will not be satisfied and the loop will not be entered. In that case, that's the end of the loop, right? That's the end of the loop. Now you have to print the current value of k. So what is the current value of k? That is the last value of k. Okay, last value of k. Sorry, last value of k is actually 60. Right, last value of k is 60. In the previous step, we calculated 5 into 12. Actually, that is 60. Right. So the last value of k is 60. Now that is the current value of k. So we'll print k and its value is 60. And how many number of times the loop executes? Actually, it is 3. So because 3 times it executes, at the fourth time the condition is not satisfied and it stop executing. So the output is actually 60, right? That means the current value of k is 60, and number of iterations or number of times the loop executes is actually 3. So now this is the end of this video. We discussed 5 important looping snippet questions in ICSE grade 10 computer applications Java question paper. So I hope you understood all the logic and keep on practicing. Okay, and see you next video. Thank you.